Boom. We are live with Ron George.
Howdy.
And we are down here at Negative Space. And we're doing a double feature, which this may be the first time in 7.5 years that we've kind of done a double feature. And we appreciate you guys joining us. It's Friday night. You may be watching live. And if you're not, you have the opportunity to watch it, watch the recorded session.
Yep. It'll be on for weeks at a time.
And Ron, you've been on the show a couple times. We did kind of that blood episode.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a great one. And that's in the archives. And you can go back there and watch that. And then last year we talked about 21 Days of Horror. And I'm so glad that we're back to second year to talk about the next it's a
season
competition.
2.
Season 2,
Yeah.
next gen, next year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But we appreciate you guys joining. Here's what we're going to do tonight is we are going to, first of all, right out of the bat, encourage you to share, because that's the value that you can bring to spreading and spreading the word and enlarging the art community. If you share, you're going to get 2 chances. If you share it once, you're going to get 2 chances to win. First time, what are they going to win if they get pulled under the 21 Days of Horror?
So there's a showing for all of the teams that sign up, and there's 2 screening groups. So you'll get they're split into 2 because there's 24 teams. That we cap it off at that. So you'll get 2 tickets. If you win 2 tickets, you can go to both showings. So there's 2 chances to win 2 tickets. So four tickets.
4 tickets.
2 showings.
2 pairs of tickets. Mm-hmm. And you get both showings. So
yep.
You get A and B, right?
Yep.
That's a pretty good deal. And
so if you're a horror fan, this is perfect. It's just like a 3.5 hours of horror films, local horror films.
And if you're at all interested in filmmaking, that would also be a great opportunity to network. Mm-hmm. Both with Ron, you get a chance to hang out with Ron, who's done quite a bit, and with a bunch of filmmakers, a bunch of actors. You get probably immersed in the Cleveland film community. And you get an opportunity to see some really great films. And we're going to get right back to that. But if you also share this, you also get a chance to win, which is going to be the second part of the feature, the opportunity to be in the Shoe Show 2026. Essentially, if your name is drawn, and you win the shoe portion of it, we're going to ask you a little bit about your story. We're going to ask you for your most worn, used, ready for the trash, perhaps, pair of shoes. And those shoes are going to be handed off to an artist or a group of artists, and they're going to create a piece of artwork. And that artwork will be shown at next year's show. So 2 opportunities to win. And we appreciate you guys jumping on. I'm going to walk around just for one instance, because if somebody ever says there's trouble hearing or whatever, I'm going to just make sure that the things are on. But we encourage you guys to share. But Ron, you are not new to filmmaking.
Nope.
Right?
I started film 2014, so 11 years ago.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're known for a few things.
Mainly special effects makeup.
Special effects?
Yeah. It's I've probably worked with 90% of the Cleveland, Northeastern Ohio, basically, filmmakers.
Yeah.
All different styles, not just horror, because there's other movies that need special effects, such as like a dramatic thing. Somebody gets slapped across the face, or bullying or whatever, and they get a black eye or whatnot. Or fight movies. I just did Matt Cain did Gatlin. I just did a whole bunch of beat up fight, bloody noses, cuts and bruises, and the end of the fight.
Yeah.
MMA stuff.
Love it. And I know there's a bunch of folks that may be kind of, I don't know, maybe interested or curious about filmmaking, and we'll go into that briefly as well. So, special effects. I know that we did that episode a couple years ago about blood, because you also make your own, are certainly known for the gore effects as well. But the 21 Days of Horror. Tell us, give us a overview, 10,000-foot view of the film competition and why it exists.
So 21 Days of Horror is strictly a horror competition where you have 21 days is basically 3 weeks. So you have 3 weeks to make an 8-minute short film. And the goal behind that is so you have 3 weeks, so you should have plenty of time to make a nice polished film. Something that's enjoyable for general audiences to come out and just watch. Something that you can take that film, because you have 3 weeks to polish it, and you can put it into other film festivals, you know, such as Short Sweet, such as Horror Hotel, Kinodrome, you know, Akron Horror Fest. There's all kind. I mean, and those are just the Ohio ones. There's plenty around the world. But like when you do this film festival, I want you to have a nice finished product that you're proud of, that you're proud to show off, and then submit it to other festivals and win more awards.
And 8 minutes sounds like a short amount of time.
No,
It takes a lot of time to produce a finished 8-minute film.
Mm-hmm. It's, I mean, for a newbie, it sounds hard, but like I have friends that enter like 3 times, like Scott Brocious. You know, he'll do 3 of them, and he could just knock them out like it's nothing. He'll do it in the span of a 48-hour film project. He'll film it in one day and just edit it the next day, and then he spends like 3 or 4 days scoring it.
Yeah.
So, but you know, not everybody's like that. He's a beast. So,
I know that there's some folks out here who have never acted in a film, who are like, I would like to be involved. What's the way that somebody might be able to kind of network or find a home on one of these teams, whether it's, you know, help with sound or perhaps just kind of, you know, maybe get killed or
I mean,
what kind of effects?
Just going to searching for network groups on Facebook. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. There's an extras group. There's, you know, the Cleveland International Film Festival has mixers 4 times a year. They actually have lectures and stuff. If you sign up with it's fairly inexpensive. Like the lowest tier is like $100. And that's like the big group, you know, but there's also like actors classes and stuff that go on, like Hood and Angela Bones. They do several mixers throughout the year, and you can go and network with those people. The 48-hour film project is great because they do probably like 3 or 4 mixers throughout the year, and they do like the little short and sweet type things where you have 48 hours to make a film. And it's a great way to network, especially if you're newer, you know, and you just want to experiment, you know, just they're all great.
This is your opportunity.
Yeah.
The 21 Days of Horror. Mm-hmm. Tell us how that works, right? So a team gathers, and you said before there's a limit to the amount of teams, and what's that limit? 24 teams. 24. So, what's the rationale behind limiting it to 24 teams? So
if you have an 8-minute film, 24 times 8 is going to be 3.5 hours. Mm. And we're going to show
the reason why you're showing a part B, a part A, and part B.
Yep. So they'll show like a group 1, and then have like a half-hour intermission, so they can come in and clean the theater or whatever, and then part 2, and then following that it'll be the awards. So it's all in one day. But it's a long day. If you sit 5-6 hours, you know, if you had 36 teams or 40 teams, you know, like the 48, well, that's great. They'll do it in 2 different days. We're trying to do it all in one day. Yeah. So we want to capture your attention span. We don't want you to get bored.
Yeah. We've had a chance to work on some movies together, and and it is incredibly rewarding to get to know a team. I know we've talked with Scott where he's like, you really have to kind of trust the folks you work with, and to join a team, to make a film, and to watch that film on the big screen in front of a whole bunch of Clevelanders and other filmmakers and horror fans. It's cool. I mean, you get to see your name up in.
See, some people, like when they do like the 48, it's twice a year, and that's the only time that they can see their film on the big screen.
Big screen. Yep.
And to those people, that is the world. That is like the best moment. You know, I always liked going and watching. Well, when I ran the 48, it was like that was my the best part about it, seeing the excitement. But then when I stepped down from the 48 and I actually went and enjoyed the show, I didn't have to worry about 500 things to put the event on. I could sit there and it felt even more exciting because I'm sitting amongst the people who are, that's like their one moment, like, look what we did. Look, our film's next. You know, just the excitement and the energy you feel from that. That's like the best part of the whole thing.
And what I also love is the audience reaction, right? Because it's the first time that your film is seen on the big screen in front of an audience. And to hear them gasp or laugh at the right amount or, you know, the nervous reactions, you can hear that audibly from the audience. And that's gotta be, I mean, that's one of the highlights that I feel a filmmaker probably feels the same.
And I was going to bring that up. I have two different friends. I don't want to name names, but like, they'll be like, I don't think my film was that great. You know, I hope people laugh at it. I hope this and that. And then it came up and people were just rolling, laughing in the theater. And it's just that little boost that they're like, yeah, okay. I saw it 500 times before you guys saw it. And now everybody's seeing it for the first time and they laughed at that part, you know, and that you're like, wow, I made that happen.
Yeah.
You can just feel that from those people.
I would imagine too that there's those happy accidents where you're like, okay, I put this in and it really, you know, it was maybe improv or I thought I might cut it out, but it made it to the final cut. It gets in front of an audience and the audience reacts when we didn't expect them to.
That happens.
That happened.
I've seen it where it's like a serious thing and then people were laughing and I'm like, what? Why are they laughing?
Yeah.
Is it bad? And then they're like, no, that was just funny to them, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We encourage you guys to share it. If you didn't join us at the very beginning, there's 2 opportunities to win by sharing this video. In the very bottom left-hand side of your screen, there's an arrow. When you hit that arrow, if you've never shared a video, it will prompt you. What we encourage you to do is share it to your friends group. Maybe also share it to a group that you might belong to. I know this is going into the Tuesday at 7 Facebook group. It's going to go to the Artists of 216. It's going to go to probably the Northeast Ohio filmmakers, because there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Ohio, and the 21 Days of Horror is certainly one of them. Now, sign up 24 teams. I would imagine that there's probably still some spaces, but it's defined, so you need to get in.
It's not just limited to Cleveland either.
Right, okay.
So we have 10 teams that have signed up so far. 3 of those teams are out of Atlanta. 2 of those teams are out of Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Yep.
So you got there's some out-of-state competition.
And there's one Michigan team. So,
one Michigan team.
And the rest are from Ohio.
There's some great filmmakers that are, you know, within a couple hours of us. I've seen some of that Michigan work. There's no wonder that they're jumping in. So we encourage you guys to share this to your out-of-state folks as well. We'll get a good amount of competition. Right?
You don't have to be there for the kickoff. We can do the kickoff remotely, but we encourage you to. It's the showing. The screening is going to be on a weekend, so it gives you, you know, plenty of time to travel, and it's on a Saturday, so you don't have to, like, you know, Wednesday night's the showing, and then you got to hurry up and be at work. You know, the next morning it's not the case. You got plenty of time to relax. So it's $125 to sign up. If it doesn't sell out the final week before the last week before April 1st, it's $135. So it only goes up $10, but you save yourself $10 by signing up early.
And you're sure that you get a spot, right? Because once the 24 is gone, it's gone.
So first place, second place, and third place, they win a trophy of zombie hand. So that's like a zombie hand with like a 1,
do you have a photo
2,
of that?
and a 3. I do. I'll put it in the
in the chat
from last year.
That is an incredible. That is an incredible trophy. I think one of the best that I've seen.
So I just ordered them again. There's an artist out of Europe that makes them for me, and I saw her on TikTok, and I was like, "Hey, would you be able to make this for me?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." So I said, well, "Just keep that, and I'll keep reordering it every year." So
yeah.
I'll post that. She sent them. I'm supposed to have them next week. So if they get through customs, you know, I mean, on time.
Right. So sign up is now. We'll put the link in for folks to go ahead and grab the link.
21daysofhorror.com.
21daysofhorror.com. Okay.
So yeah, first, second, and third place get those trophies. Fourth place gets an actual trophy because nobody does that. And I said, why not? Let's just be different.
Yeah.
First place also gets $500. First place will also get their film automatically shown at Horror Hotel and at the Akron Horror Fest.
Yeah, that fest. Right.
Yeah, and second place gets free admission the following year. To join, so you don't have to pay the entry fee. And like if you can't do it for the next year for whatever, we can carry it over one more year, but then after that you kind of lose it.
Got it. Last year there were how many teams?
So we had 23 teams sign up. Only 22 turned them in, and that happens.
Yeah.
Funny story with that. They showed up at the kickoff and said, "Yeah, we just heard about this." And I was like, "Did you sign up?" And they're like, "Well, no." So they gave me cash, and they said, "Yeah, we like horror, but we don't want to do anything like bloody." So the way that it works at the kickoff is you can choose a genre.
So how does that look like? You pick it out of.
So I will probably do it the same this year. I made a bunch of I made 8 packages of spaghetti and put it in blood. So it's kind of like guts, like you're reaching in the guts. And it was fake blood, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I put the names of the genres and Easter eggs inside of a Ziploc bag and put those all in there. So you're pulling out an egg and you open it up and say it says aliens. And you're like, I don't really want to do aliens. You can put that aside and pick again. But if you pick again, you're stuck with the second choice. You cannot go back to aliens. So in this case, he said he didn't want to do anything like bloody. And horror is not always about blood. Sometimes it's what you don't
right?
see.
What you don't see that.
Mm-hmm. So look at Halloween. There's 0 blood in the movie Halloween. It's a slasher movie. There's no blood in 1978 Halloween.
Yeah.
So he picked slasher, and they're like, I'll put it back. So then they pulled again, and they picked extreme gore.
Stuck with extreme gore, and they didn't even want to use.
They never answered my phone calls, never answered my emails. I was just like, okay, I guess they're not doing it. I mean, but there's no refunds, so. I mean,
come in and put on your creative hat and run with the first one, perhaps, or live with the second one.
Yeah. So last year I made a mistake and I put 3 of each genre in there.
Oh.
So we had 3 vampires, we had 3 of this thing and 3 of this thing, and I did a survey at the end and said, what would you like to see different? What did you like? What you didn't like? All these different questionnaires, and they said, I wish we wouldn't have so many of the same choices in the bucket so that we could get a wide variety. So this year I did 26 genres. So we have 24 teams. So everybody will have a different one.
Oh.
However, I am mixing it up this year and I'm putting a wild card. So let's say you reached in there and you picked, 80s trashy horror, and somebody next picks the wild card. They can say, I want to do 80s trashy horror. They don't steal yours, but they get to do it too.
They can do it as well.
They can pick anything on the list if you get the wild card one.
Oh, so that's the magic one. Is you get to pick.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I've seen that before, so I wanted to just try to do something different.
I like it.
So then once you're assigned your genres, once you draw your genre, then we'll give you a prop. And it's not it's different from the 48 or Horror Hotel, where they will just give you a prop that's just random. It could be a backpack or it could be a tennis ball or a donut. I'm giving you something that absolutely fits in a horror movie, because the goal is to have you do a nice horror film, not with something silly in it.
You don't have to, try to pull something,
So for example, last year we did duct tape, because you can put duct tape in any horror movie.
That's a good one.
And
so everybody has the same prop?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and you're encouraged to use the prop, not just have it laying on on a table.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use it or incorporate it into the movie as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also give you a scenario that has to happen. Everybody has to have the same scenario. So last year, the scenario was the power goes out. So at some point in your movie, either the power goes out, it doesn't have to stay out, it could go out and come back on, it could just be flicker lights, could be you walked into a building and there was no power. And I told them, because last year in April, there was an eclipse, which is a rare occasion. I said, if you want to use the eclipse, we will count that as the power goes out because the sky is dark. And there's 2 teams that did that. So we went ahead and gave a special award for best use of the clips. You know, it went to one of the two teams. I think it was Hooligan. I think Hooligans
The
won that.
Hooligans.
Yeah.
I was part of that shoot.
Yeah. So it's just trying to be different than what other festivals are doing.
Yeah.
You know?
You had mentioned Halloween of not have the Halloween, the original in '78, not having any gore, even though it was a slasher, and probably a lot of people imagine that was a really gory film, even though there wasn't anything there.
Yeah.
One of the most memorable things, I think we would all agree, of the Halloween, the original as well as the others, is the soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Right? And so the soundtrack for these films is a really important component. Tell me about the sound, right?
So we can use Halloween as an example.
Yeah.
It helps bring that fear, that anticipation of I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
With that eerie sound at the right place. Actually, I just started scoring. I started doing that. I scored my first official film 2 weeks ago for Scott. So I understand it a little better. I was like, let me see if I could do it. Because I'm a musician, and it's different than writing a song. Because with writing a song, you're like verse, bridge, chorus. This is like you got to go to. It doesn't match 4/4, 6/8. It's like this happens here. It's offbeat, but you can't just like write a song for it. You got to like make that happen.
Yeah.
Make something build up into that point. So bringing that suspense, I think if you had a film with no dialogue and a cool score, you can scare the hell out of somebody.
Yeah.
You don't have to have dialogue. You don't have to have blood. If you have the right elements of just music and action with reading the faces or just not seeing, like you peek just enough, but you're like, you want the camera to go a little further. That's scary.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it, but with the right elements in place, that's scary.
But imagine those who are scoring these films have quite a bit of music experience, but for them to sit down, I mean, they're probably, maybe they're coming up with some of that once they know the pick, the genre, etc. But they essentially have to almost start their work once that film is edited, right? Because it's all dependent upon the action or the reaction of the actors and the film, right?
Right. And that's the one thing, the biggest complaint that I've heard from people who score is a filmmaker will say, here's I'm going to give you a scene to score. And then they'll score that scene and then they'll re-edit it and change it. And he's like, oh, well, we changed it a little bit. Well, now it doesn't match up, but they played actual instruments and scored. So it's not like, oh, let me just move it. He's got to rescore that. So as a director or producer, you need to have a picture lock, and you're not going to change anything else until you give it to that, once you give it to that score composer.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the biggest hurdle for those people.
I know that there's people out here that are watching. Maybe you just clicked in here not even thinking that you might be interested in, joining a film competition. And you may be particularly interested, or maybe your mind's been picked by just a conversation here. You have a Facebook page. You also have the website again is
21 Days of Horror.
That's a 2-1, right? The numerical 2-1, 21 Days of Horror.
There's Instagram.
Okay, Instagram as well.
21 Days of Horror.
24 teams. The shooting is starting on
April 1st.
So when's the draw?
Every year it will be April 1st through April 21st. The kickoff is April 1st, and it would be from 6 to 7 on April 1st.
So you're going to get your draws on April 1st. You're going to get everything on April 1st. You got 21 days to upload your video.
So on April 21st at midnight, you have to turn your film in. And you can turn it in through Dropbox, Google Drive, or we transfer any of those transfers. It shouldn't be. Last year, nobody turned it in at the last minute. Everybody turned them in 2-3 days before the deadline. 3 weeks. That's plenty of time.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you should be late.
Yeah.
There was nobody late. You know, I had one team that had a difficult time uploading, and I just said, I'm just going to meet you, and he just gave me a drive. You know, whatever. It's not the end of the world.
All right, so we're going to ignore, like, this is, I'm asking questions just between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, are there any genres that are, because you're expanding the genres,
mm-hmm.
that particularly surprising that you can share?
So we have,
It's okay if the answer is no.
no, we have 6 new genres.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this year we added, I don't have them memorized, so I put them under myself.
Well, that's 24
one of the new genres is traps, games, and escape rooms. And the other one's aliens. And then we have slow zombies. And then fast zombies. There's 2 different types of zombies.
Sure.
Romantic horror. So that would be like Natural Born Killers, you know, that kind of thing where you're doing it for love or warm bodies, you know, you're a zombie, but you're in love with, you know, and horror body swap.
Oh.
So not necessarily just a body swap, like, what was that?
The movie where the daughter and the,
I couldn't think of her name. I could see their faces.
Yeah,
like,
what was in that movie, guys? That
so it's not horror like so.
Yeah.
Freaky would be a good example.
Yeah.
You know, where it was a serial killer.
Freaky Friday, was that it?
Well, Freaky Friday was the name, but there was a new one that came out like 3 years ago, Freaky.
Oh.
So it was a serial killer swapped places with a I think like a cheerleader girl or something like that.
Mm.
Vince Vaughn was the serial killer. So like he's in this other girl's body. So something like that, you know, is what I was thinking. So I'm pretty excited with that. And like some of the other ones off the top of my head, we have trashy 80s horror, 90s found footage, shot on video. So it's got to look like a VCR tape that was taped over a movie that's taped over another movie. We had 2 people that did that last year. It turned out excellent.
Yeah.
We have Evil Possession, Witches in the Occult. Actually, The Witches won second place. That was Jay Williams.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Horror spoof, horror comedy. There's extreme gore and there's slasher. There's 26 of them total. That's ones I can think off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us. What have I missed? Have we missed any impertinent stuff? Because we're going to continue to move over to our second feature. But what have we missed about the 21 Days of Horror?
There's a trailer that we shot like 2 months ago with Blind 7.
Oh.
With Abe Blind 7. I reached out to him and said, hey, want to step it up this year and do some stuff. And I know you're excellent with horror. So I said, here's, you know, some of the genres that we're going to do. And he's like, you know what? We can make little shorts out of these and we'll take pieces of it and make a trailer out of it. And then he's going to use them too as promotion for his company because what we filmed goes hand in hand with both of our scopes.
Both of your focus and gifts.
He did an excellent job.
And we'll attach that trailer in the comments here. So you guys can click into that and get all your heart racing.
There's some sprinkled through the trailer. There's the first, second, third, and fourth place teams. We sprinkled little pieces of their films in there. But like the 90%, the rest of the 90%, we shot just little things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Guys, we appreciate you joining. Don't wait.
Mm-hmm. And share this video.
Yeah, share this video. You'll get an opportunity to get a pair of tickets. Mm-hmm. There's 2 pairs given away. Mm-hmm. And if you share this, you also get a chance to get your shoes placed into artwork over the next 12 months. And perhaps your shoes be placed in the 2026 shoe show, which is going to be our second portion of this. Again, I know that there's a lot of folks like, well, what is Tuesday at 7? It's an online community. We're usually getting together on Tuesdays at 7 digitally. But I believe that, like creatives can change the world when we unite mm-hmm. and then when we share knowledge. I mean, it allows people to thrive as individuals and thrive in community. And that's what 21 Days of Horror. I mean, you're bringing together, you're sharing knowledge, mm-hmm. you're bringing people together. And we're there to support, you know, the Northeast Ohio, the Ohio, mm-hmm. the regional. we have folks that join us from all over the world, and we appreciate you guys joining and your shares. So share away. And
encourage people to go to like Short Sweet. That's February 24th through March 2nd. 21 days. It's April 1st through the 21st, and the showing is March 10th. And then we got Horror Hotel, June 19th through the 23rd. There's the 48, which is going to be in July, and then again in October. They do a horror one in October. And then Keenodrome is at the end of September, and the Erie Culture Fest is in the fall as well. So you need to go out and support all of those
many opportunities, right?
Don't just go to one. Support them all.
Yeah.
Because they're all different. They're all unique.
Yeah. I know that there's folks that a year ago or a few years ago or over COVID, they're like, maybe I'll kind of figure this out. Mm-hmm. Those folks are active people in the film community, and they're part of 2, 3, 4 films a year, and now consider the Northeast Ohio film community their friends. And
I actually forgot the biggest one, SIFF. It happens right in the middle of 21 Days of Horror. So it's a weekend there. It's a Thursday through a Sunday, I believe. I don't remember the exact date, but it's in April.
Yeah,
so SIFF is huge. You got to go see that. That's like the best of the best.
Yeah, all kinds of opportunities. But we're going to stick with us because I'm going to pick up this phone and we're going to just talk here really quickly. Okay. Here at let's follow me, Ron. We are at Negative Space Gallery. If you're from Northeast Ohio and you haven't been to this gallery, you are missing out because there's many talented artists who are here, and most notably Gadi Zamir, who a lot of this work here, most of this work is Gadi's.
That one up there is like one of my favorite paintings.
Oh, that up there. Oh yeah,
I'd love to own that. I'd love to own that one day. Yeah, it's so symbolic there.
I am such a fan of Gadi's work, and it's not only paintings, but it's sculpture and. There's movement. Some of it, there's all kinds of backstory, but we're going to travel through here. This
scorpion.
Yeah, the scorpion bike is crazy. But Gadi he's certainly, an icon here in Northeast Ohio. But he allowed us to host the shoe show right down here at Negative Space. And if you've never been down here, you should come. We'll go ahead and put the address here. But the shoe show was just, what can we learn about people by sitting with and incorporating their shoes into artwork? So
is it one artist or is it several artists that do the shoes?
Some of these pieces were mine alone that I've been working on for some time, and then the others were collaborations. Some of them were artists that just had a pair of shoes and ran with it. So we're just going to go. There's 15 pieces. We appreciate you guys joining. And again, if you share, get the opportunity to hand over a pair of worn shoes and have your shoes immortalized in artwork. But this one here,
it's got like barbed wire on it.
Yeah, it's like that's exactly right. Yeah. So these shoes, the donor is anonymous. But and so this is a piece of mine, but this had to do, the inspiration was addiction to attention. And so we're going to leave folks to go ahead and make that their own interpretation of, these tall, kind of these go-go boots with barbed wire.
It's like a Lady Gaga type thing.
Yeah. This one here is not carrying, but devouring. And I know that I don't have the white lights here, but there's a large.
Hold on.
A large shoe.
Let's see if I can.
You can see it. See if it'll show in there. A little bit, yeah. Oh yeah. And that shoe is devouring the small child shoe underneath. Now, folks will say, tell me a little about this because I've heard of CLE Cleveland. Well, CLE Cleveland, anybody who wins the bid on these, they'll be making a donation to CLE Cleveland. Most of these pieces you could probably get for $100, But this one is pink, another 27, and this was inspired by the story of a lesser known 27, a 27 club, somebody who died at age 27. This, unlike being addicted to attention, this one has to do with, addiction to synthetic drugs. And, but a great, I love this piece here. This is one of my favorites. This one here is simple. It's called just String of Pearls.
You got that scratch on the way.
I saw these shoes thrown out of the passenger side of a car. I was driving down the street. Somebody just rolled down the window, threw them out. I don't know the backstory, but I ended up after a week or so going and grabbing those shoes and taking them home, and they find themselves now tongue and all into the shoe show. Now, what's cool about the shoe show is some of these were anonymous folks who just said, yeah, you can use my shoes, but please don't attach my name to it. But we have several pieces here that, actually, we're going to go up here. But we have several pieces here that we had folks that said, yeah, I'll let people know who it is, and please have an artist just take it and have some fun with it. This piece here, this is another anonymous donor, but this one is actually by Brandon. Do you know the correct pronunciation? Is it like Gauguin or?
I think it's just Brandon Gaughan.
Brandon Gaughan. This is an epoxy piece, and it's not only lit up, but it's also rotating, as you guys can see. But this piece is available as well. Again, the spirit here was pull together some artists.
Well, makes like a heart.
Yeah. Pull together the artists, have them, create a piece that were inspired by the shoes. Obviously, these shoes were well worn, and then immortalized by Brandon with his vision and his epoxy. But again, this gives the opportunity for folks to make a donation to CLE Cleveland. CLE Cleveland is a nonprofit organization. If you make the donation, you get a tax-deferred, donation form. And then with that tax donation form, if you win it, you bring that down here and you walk away with a piece of artwork. So raise it for a good cause. We're bringing people together. Again, the intention is to kind of bring the community up. Now, this piece, what's cool about this piece is for we horror fans, especially on a day where we did 21 days of horror, this was Jordan Winsuck with some welding from Ryan Wittenmeyer. And this is the boot that I wore the very first time I ever acted. Now that was 1991. It was September 5th, 1991. It was the first day I officially acted. And Jordan said, yeah, I'll do that. And he came up with this artwork, which, if you're a horror fan, this would be a great coffee table, right behind or right next to your space. Mm-hmm. But Brandon, I'm not Brandon, but Jordan, who did this one, I want to come over here. He also does the prop work for Dark Matter. So we want to pull this up to make sure that you see this. But his work is one of a kind. Everything he does, you get one. There's only one shot at it. It's not mass produced. But Brandon really attends to details. I'm going to show one different thing here. Oops, sorry about that. Just kick the camera. But there's attention to detail. Even that gauge, he opened it up to weather it. He opened it up so that he could move that dial or the what do you call that thing? Anyway, the pointer,
pressure point,
pressure point up, and he painted on the inside. So the attention to detail is great. And again, if you win this piece, you just go to CLE Cleveland, put in your bid. The bid closes at midnight on Valentine's Day, which is next Friday. And if you win this piece, and then you make a donation, and you take it home as well. Now, what was cool is, again, those folks that are kind of catching, we are at negative space. This work, the majority of work that you see here is Gaudi's, Amir's. If you haven't been down here in negative space, you should. Make it a point to come on down. They have a lot of live events,
It's all
music, concert. Yeah, this I absolutely love this work. And we'll just go ahead and make sure that the artist. So we have Linda Dempsey, Driftwood Sculptures, but she has her work down here, which is just absolutely phenomenal. If you've ever been down here to Negative Space, you'll remember this because it's unforgettable. There's some work down here. It feels kind of a little bit of a nice pass here. But
does that go back?
Yeah, it goes back, and there's some studio space and some great stuff to explore. But
interesting.
Linda,
this is like an excellent piece. Look at this piece. Excellent use of that piece.
Yeah.
The legs. How it's like they made it into legs.
Oh yeah,
going all the way back.
So in addition to Gotti's work, you get to see a bunch of other artists here. And Jimmy, you're up there. You just joined the family down here at Negative Space. We're gonna come down and we're gonna have an interview with you here in the next few months if you're up for it, and explore what you're doing too. But we're excited, yeah. Again, let's go ahead and get the phone number here if you're interested in Linda's sculptures. But one of the things that I have been doing lately is I've kind of had some interest in art collecting. So to find these pieces, not going down in value, you get to enjoy them, and then if you want to pass them forward, make some money off of them. Collect and invest. But let me go over these last few pieces from the shoe show. This piece
up there too
is called, this piece right here is called Detached. And it's slit. And the owner of this piece has the option of changing the lighting with the remote. And again, if you win this piece,
should I try it?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah. Go ahead. I maybe the upper left.
Oh. I don't know what that is.
Oh, there's a.
Oh, I just turned it off. Okay.
Now we got some different colors going on there. So anyways, yeah, you get the remote. Interactive art.
There we go.
This might be a tabletop too. Kind of sitting on the tabletop. I hung this for the sake of the art show, but
there it is. That's
it gives the opportunity. It's called Detached. This piece here is called 40 something. I actually grabbed this. It was, there's two times I think that are certainly monumental in a female's life, right? And that would be adolescence. It would also be the 40 years, right? It can be brutal going from, through menopause.
That gives me the feeling of like running mascara.
That too, yeah. Oop. This right here is one of my favorites. We've been using this really kind of as an advertisement. But if shoes could talk, and again, if you win this piece, you might be able to get this for $100 if somebody else doesn't outbid you. But again, if shoes could talk. Now, this is one of my favorites. These are actually my daughter's Birkenstocks at the bottom. She wore those out, broke through them, and they were about the time that she kind of left those adolescent years and stepped down to adulthood. So these are actually my daughter Delaney's. It's called Stepping Out in Faith. It's really cool. Are these footprints?
It's good symbolism as they fade away as you're walking away.
Yeah, as she was just kind of walking, and the paint was being left behind on that wooden canvas.
It's a good choice that you did black rather than white footprints.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. This piece here is really kind of crazy. This is a concealed shoe. Concealed shoes, the first concealed shoe was concealed in the fabric of a building in 1308. And it was a practice, concealing a shoe is a practice of, some say superstition, some would say that it was done for the sake of having good wishes for fertility. So they would conceal a shoe, usually of a family member, usually a female, and this was pulled out of a home. Actually, it was donated to us, and this came out of a home that was built in 1840. So it's probably the wearer of the shoe was probably born in 1810 or so, but this shoe was concealed for 150 years before it was removed. And this concealed shoe can be yours as well. Again, there is a concealed shoe registry. Concealed shoe registry has shoes rescued out of about 2,000 locations across history and across the entire globe. So they are not common. This shoe would make actually a great prop for one of the horror, right? For a horror film. This one here, these shoes were donated. These shoes were donated by Neil Zaza. You'll see his signature there as well. Neil Zaza is a Cleveland icon.
Amazing guitarist.
Yeah. And they were donated. This was a collaboration between Andy Denny and myself. Neil came in here. He donated his shoes and came in here. And for the first time, he saw this art piece live. And so there's a couple of bids out here on this piece. But it gives you the opportunity to have a piece of artwork and some music memorabilia, the Cleveland icon. And again, this is kind of the spirit, is to grab a pair of shoes. Is that something?
Oh, is that done with crayon?
Oil, yeah, the oil pastels.
I say, it kind of looks like crayon.
Yeah, oil pastels, and using the shoes as inspiration. And then there's a couple pieces here, but this is a piece. These are actually a pair of shoes painted with oil, or I should say alcohol-based paints, to look like they had been hanging on a wire or up in a tree. But there's actually, that piece is called Shoe Fitty, and there's street art that, they'll take shoes, and the shoes over a wire, that represents a lot of different things. So if you ever are interested, check out Shoe Fitty. We'll go ahead and put that name in the comments, but Shoe Fitty is a whole art movement. The art of using shoes as street art. And then, I don't think I missed any. Oh yeah, these were kind of thrown. These are going to show up in a piece next year, but we wanted to put another piece hanging here. Wait till you see what's going to happen with these shoes. You can look at how long those laces are, so maybe that'll give you a little bit of an idea about maybe how that'll end up in art next year. But then the last but not least are these shoes. Let me get out of this light. Bob Peck put these shoes in a bag. Bob Peck is a street artist muralist.
That's heavy.
Yeah, and what happened to these shoes is I grabbed them and went out and spent some time with, so CLE Connect. And if you flip that over, we have the QR code here. So if you're interested, the QR code. We'll go ahead by looking at that QR code or CLE Connect. They'll take you right to the website and give you the opportunity to go ahead and put your bid in. But these shoes were Jerry Schmidt, who's a metal sculptor, and I just reimagined these, saying, this is like a point in time. So we created this piece. And if you're a business, we're missing one other piece. If you're a business and you're looking, to make a donation, maybe you have some goodwill money left in the budget, this would be certainly a great one to do. And then maybe get a painting of Bob Peck.
Is this the guy over by the Beachland?
He relocated.
He relocated?
Yeah, he relocated,
okay.
but he was out in the Waterloo.
Place.
Yeah, some great places. There's one other piece.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, in the back of my mind, I was thinking to myself, we're missing one, and we are absolutely missing one, and that's this. And so, of course, look at this great table. These shoes were Lily Sargent. Lily Sargent is a ballet dancer for the Cleveland Ballet. And Lily donated her point shoes. What I didn't realize is that ballet dancers have a pretty defined number of years they can dance because it's just too rough on the foot. Her point shoes were handed off to the artists at the Glass Asylum, and they blew these glass slippers. When I talked to the artists, and again, I want to make sure, Dominic Bender and Dean Warrenberg, one of those shoes was the 5th iteration. It took 5 for them to get to 1, and the other one was 8. So if you were to donate this piece, first of all, inspired by a pair of shoes worn by Lily Sargent, which is part of this artwork, then you also get the glass slippers. And again, all you need to do is go to CLE Connect. The bids end on February 14th, Valentine's Day. If you win the bid, you make a donation to CLE Connect, and you win the shoes. So we appreciate you guys jumping on and joining us in. Ron, what's a couple closing remarks? So we did a double feature here. Mm-hmm. If you share this, you have an opportunity to win. You get actually 3 chances to win because you can get a pair of tickets, 2 pairs of tickets, or an opportunity to donate shoes. But tell us about the film community and it's sort of the 21 Days of Horror.
So, film community is a family. There shouldn't be any enemies. It's not we're better than you, you're better than me. We're all a family. We all work together.
Yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
So 21 Days of Horror, April 1st through April 21st. 24 teams this year. 125 to sign up. 21daysofhorror.com.
Yeah. It's your chance to be part of a community and make some art together. We appreciate everybody joining, and Ron, we appreciate you too.
Thank you.